The coroner said Craig had probably been sick between 10 and 11 years, unmedicated all those years. Why, I don't know. So if you do the math, that puts him back in New York when he got sick.
This rapper had HIV and had been going unmedicated for 10 years, and the women closest to him had no idea. This is not just one story. Across rap's entire history, only a handful of names have ever been attached to an HIV diagnosis. And behind almost every single one of them, there is a woman who deserved the truth long before she got it: Craig Mack. Before Bad Boy Records became the empire the whole world knows, there was one man who built the foundation: Craig Mack. Born May 10th, 1970 in the Bronx and raised in Brentwood, Long Island, was the first major artist Sean Combs ever launched. His 1994 single, Flava in Your Ear, peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, went platinum, and introduced the world to a label that would go on to dominate the second half of that decade. The remix brought out the notorious B.I.G. and gave Busta Rhymes one of his earliest breakout moments. Craig Mack opened the door that everyone else walked through, but the label relationship went south fast. His ex-wife Roxanne was with him through all of it, and she watched the disrespect up close. The breaking point came at an album release party when Craig, already struggling financially, living show money to show money, asked Puff directly for a few dollars to hold him over before a run of dates.
And Puff went in his pocket and pulled out a knot of money about this big and gave him a $100 bill. And I couldn't even believe he did that. I was shocked. You know, you can't say bad boy family and you don't treat a person like family, especially when they've put their blood, sweat, and tears into their music that ultimately only benefited him. But yes, he only handed him $100. And I was just like, whoa, I'm from Chicago. That would not have gone over well here.
Craig filed for bankruptcy in 1996 to get out of the Bad Boy deal and never found his footing in music again. By 2007, he had made a decision that blindsided everyone who knew him. He packed up his family and disappeared into the Overcomer Ministry, a gated Christian commune in Walterboro, South Carolina, run by a preacher named Brother Ralph Gordon Stair, who was later convicted of assault. No technology, no outside contact, farm work and prayer every single day. What Roxanne and their children did not know was that Craig was already carrying something with him when he left. The coroner's findings after his death told the whole story.
So if you do the math, that puts him back in New York when he got sick. How he got sick, we have some speculations, but I'm not at liberty to discuss those right now due to my attorneys telling me not to talk about it.
He had been infected while he was still in New York, still in the music industry, still married, still someone people knew, and he said nothing. The ministry's belief that seeking medical treatment showed a lack of faith in God gave him a framework to avoid it entirely, so he did for over a decade.
From what I understand, no. And if he was taking some medicine, my kids and I, we don't know what he was taking, if anything. But he couldn't have been taking anything, you know, because by the time he got really, really ill, from what I was understanding, even if he had took medicine, it wouldn't have helped him. It wouldn't.
Because he had full-blown AIDS at that time.
Yeah.
Roxanne, her children, Craig's mother, his brother, none of them were told the truth until 14 days before he died. Craig Mack passed on March 12, 2018, at 47 years old, and his death certificate listed HIV and AIDS complications as the cause. The world only found out through a Rolling Stone investigation published in August 2024 after Roxanne, his brother Andrew, and his daughter Amanda finally decided to speak. Roxanne believes the infection was not accidental. She believes someone was sent to him on purpose.
Where Craig told him, well, if you want to be in music, be careful, because they will put someone with you and they'll poison you. At that time when he told him that, he had no idea Craig was sick with AIDS. So Craig had a
Eazy-E. If Craig Mack's story is about a secret that stretched over a decade, Eazy-E's is about how fast everything can collapse. Eric Lynn Wright was born September 7, 1964, in Compton, California, the son of a postal worker and a school administrator. He dropped out of high school in the 10th grade, got his GED, and spent his early years in the streets before music pulled him in a different direction. He co-founded NWA with Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and others in 1987, and their debut, Straight Outta Compton, became one of the most important records in hip-hop history, going double platinum and dragging gangster rap into the mainstream conversation whether anyone was ready for it or not. Outside the studio, he lived like someone who believed nothing could touch him. He had 11 children with 8 different women. He moved through the world with the kind of confidence that comes from never having been forced to slow down. He married Tamika Woods on March 14, 1995. 12 days later, he was dead. The way his close friend and label mate Frost tells it, the early signs were easy to dismiss, even for the people right next to him.
So he's like, man, he's saying like, man, I'm not feeling that good. I got like a chest congestion, like a thing, and then it ended up going into that Sunday.
On February 24th, 1995, Eazy-E was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles. The diagnosis waiting for him was not a chest infection, it was full-blown AIDS. Frost's girlfriend was working at the hospital and called him before anyone had made a public statement.
She called me, she said, Eazy's on the 8th floor, right here at Cedars-Sinai. And I'm like, really? I said, yeah, you know, he does a lot of charity things. He probably up there visiting the patient, like, or seeing something, and she just abruptly stopped me right there, and she said, Frost, Eazy's on the 8th floor. They don't let people up here, period.
On March 16th, 1995, his team released a public statement. He described it as the biggest fight of his life and told the world, just remember, it's your real time and your real life. 10 days later, on March 26th, 1995, he died from AIDS-related pneumonia at 30 years old. More than 3,000 people came to the funeral. It was one of the earliest and most public HIV disclosures in rap history, and Frost, to this day, does not believe the official explanation of how it happened.
But I think that they really had a stronghold of giving him tainted needles with the AIDS virus in them through acupuncture, because how else could somebody die that fast of AIDS? Have you even heard of somebody dying in 2 weeks of AIDS, bro? Come on, man. This is unheard of, bro.
The medical evidence points to sexual transmission and a late diagnosis at a time when treatment options were almost non-existent. But the speed of it, admitted in February, announced in March, gone by the end of that same month, still shakes people who were there. Mykki Blanco. Both Eazy-E and Craig Mack represent what happens when disclosure either comes too late or never comes at all. Mykki Blanco represents what happens when someone refuses to let the secret win. Born Michael David Quattlebaum Jr. on April 2nd, 1986 in Orange County, California, Mykki built a career in the underground rap and performance art world starting around 2010, making music that was genuinely difficult to classify. Avant-garde, queer, theatrical, and completely uninterested in fitting into any existing box. The mainstream never fully picked it up, but within the communities that did, the name carried serious weight. In June 2015, Mykki posted something on Facebook that almost no rapper had ever done. The message was simple: I've been HIV positive since 2011, my entire career. The post called out stigma directly. Fuck stigma and hiding in the dark. This is my real life. And when people asked why, the answer was just as plain. I did it for love. I did it for myself. At a certain point, my real life has to be more important than this career. Time, Billboard, BET, and Rolling Stone all covered it, and the response from fans and media was largely one of respect and support. At that moment, Mykki was one of the only living rappers to have publicly acknowledged being HIV positive. The career did not end. The music kept coming, the tours kept happening, and the conversation around HIV and hip-hop shifted a little because of the willingness to just say it out loud. Slim Thug. Stave Jerome Thomas, known as Slim Thug, was born in 1980 in Houston, Texas, and built one of the most respected careers to ever come out of the southern rap scene. Still tippin' with Mike Jones and Paul Wall, the debut album already platinum, and years of consistent independent output that kept him relevant long after most of his contemporaries had faded, Slim Thug earned his spot. What he did not earn was the rumor that started circulating around 2006 and picked up steam all the way into 2013. Anonymous posts on rap forums and gossip sites began claiming he was HIV positive, and his slimmer frame during his career peak was presented as supposed proof of AIDS progression. No names, no sources, no records, just a combination of his well-known reputation with women and the kind of speculation that spreads fastest when nobody pushes back with facts. He has attributed his leaner look to gym work and deliberate lifestyle changes, and has continued releasing music and touring without any credible health claims ever emerging. The rumor never produced a single piece of evidence because there was no evidence to produce. It was constructed entirely from assumptions about who he was as a person, not anything he actually had. That distinction matters. A man's lifestyle is not a diagnosis, gossip is not journalism, and the damage that gets done when those two things get treated as the same thing is real, even when the person it targets is still very much alive and healthy. Gucci Mane. Radrick Delantic Davis, Gucci Mane, was born in 1980 and became something that very few artists in any genre ever managed to become: genuinely irreplaceable. Trap music as the world knows it runs through his catalogue: Lemonade, Wasted, an almost incomprehensible number of mixtapes, a prison sentence from 2014 to 2016 that should have slowed him down and instead seemed to sharpen him. He came home, got married, signed major deals, and kept building. The HIV accusation against him was never an accusation in any meaningful sense. In September 2013, during a public back and forth with Tyga over comments Gucci had made about Blac Chyna, Tyga posted a tweet implying that Burberry, widely understood to refer to Gucci, had HIV, and that was the reason nobody wanted to deal with him. The tweet was deleted almost immediately, and sites like All Hip Hop covered it as a rapper going as low as possible in a beef with nothing behind it. Gucci's camp dismissed it, and nothing followed. No evidence, no follow-up claims from anyone with a name attached to them. The tweet lived and died in the same news cycle. What it left behind was not a story about Gucci Mane's health. It was a story about how casually a person's reputation can be weaponized in the middle of a Twitter argument, and how long those things tend to linger even after the original post is gone. What runs through all 5 stories is the same thing: the weight of what people are afraid to say, and the cost that silence collects over time. Craig Mack's children grew up on a compound not knowing their father was dying. Eazy-E's wife of 12 days became a widow before anyone had time to process the announcement. And Mykki Blanco made the decision that the others didn't or couldn't make, and proved that choosing to be honest is not the same thing as losing. HIV in 2025 is not a death sentence. With consistent treatment, people live full, long, healthy lives, but none of that matters if the fear of being known keeps people from getting help. That is the real story behind every name on this list, not the diagnosis, but what the fear of it costs. Leave your thoughts below, and if you want to go deeper on any of these cases, the card on screen will take you straight there.